This is part 2 of our Hughes Reviews Pretty in Pink review. Thank you for clicking on the link. Now you can get the rest of the story, in which we discuss the showdown at the prom and the alternate ending of the John Hughes film Pretty in Pink.
She goes to prom because she doesn't want to. There's a line in the movie where she is standing before her dad saying that she doesn't have a date, but she's going to go anyway because she wants to show them that they didn't break her down. She's talking about the rich kids. She's not just talking about Stefan, but she's talking about everybody that has abused her throughout her entire school career, probably.
Yeah.
And she also goes to prom because from the beginning of the movie, it's set up that prom is this rite of passage. That if you don't go to prom, you're forever going to be wondering. There's going to be something missing from your life. You're gonna say, what if I had went? You know, what if I had went with that guy? What if my life were different because of it? And so it reinforces the stereotype that prom is this huge deal in a high school career. And she's a senior, so it makes sense that she would go.
Yeah.
But by the end of the movie, she goes because it's kind of, she's sticking it to the man. She wants to show up looking really hot and make everybody feel like crap. Throughout the film, you see Andy who has an interest in fashion design. She's probably got a scholarship to some sort of fashion or art institute waiting for her. She makes all of her clothes, and so it just makes sense that she's gonna make a prom dress. Before Blaine blows her off, you see her. There's a scene at the mall where she's looking at really pricey prom dresses because it seems like she wants to fit into that world where Blaine is.
Yeah.
If there's any moment where Andy kind of falters in her self-esteem, it's probably in that moment where she wants to seem like she has money. She wants to seem like she fits into that world instead of being who she is and fitting into the world that she is. So Blaine blows her off, and she immediately comes back to, point one, where she knows who she is. She knows what she has to do. She takes a secondhand dress, as you said, from her dad that's hideous. She takes Iona's dress, which is her mom character, so she has 2 dresses from her parents, and she takes them apart and rebuilds something new, which is kind of a symbolic way of saying that she's been broken down in this situation with Blaine and Steph and all of the rich kids, but she's building herself back up into something new.
Yeah. And she does show up. She looks great. Ducky's there, and he looks pretty darn good. Prior to this, her and Ducky have had a falling out over Blaine, because Ducky adores her, and she starts dating Blaine, and Ducky's under the impression that Blaine will drop her. And why would she want that? Why would she actively, once again, reinforcing the whole socioeconomic themes of the movie?
Yeah.
We're us and they're them, and we can't be together.
Can't cross those lines.
But in the prom scene where she shows up and Ducky's there and he's looking good, and they kind of reconcile, and they walk into prom hand in hand. We get a nice tight frame of them holding hands, both of them. So Andy's not pushing Ducky off anymore, and Ducky's not really acting as weird as he usually does. He's kind of gained some confidence himself.
He has. If you're staying with the theme of transformation, Ducky he's realized that Andy isn't in love with him, and he is able to move forward with that. He's able to get really dressed up and look, not hide behind these silly costumes and these crazy clothes because he isn't able to show who he really is, but he just looks really good, walks out with confidence, and he for the first time in the movie, he's probably really honest with himself.
Yeah.
What they did is they shot the original ending with all of the characters, and how it ended with Ducky and Andy ending up together. If you want to say that they became closer friends, if you want to take it as like they eventually became a romantic couple, that's the way they ended the film. That Blaine walks away and Andy lets him walk. That she's realized that she doesn't need that. She doesn't want to fit into this rich world. That she's got everything that she needs right in front of her. They did a pre-screening of the film and nobody responded to it. Everybody was like, that's ridiculous. She should end up with Blaine. And so then they went back, which was like 6 months later. Andrew McCarthy was in the middle of filming, I believe it's a war movie. I can't remember the name of it, but so he had a shaved head. He lost about 15 to 20 pounds, and he just looks terrible because I think it's about a prisoner of war camp. And they're like, okay, we have to reshoot this end scene.
Yeah.
And so you see Andrew McCarthy's character, and he has a terrible wig on. It's like Lego hair. It's sticking out in the back. It's got like a duck bill in the back, and then you're thinking, this is a Hollywood production. Surely they could have sprung for a better rug, but they didn't. And they reshoot, and he just looks terrible. He looks like, I mean, it fits because surely he's been mooning over Andy and, regretting his decision. Probably hasn't been eating a lot, blah, blah, blah. But they reshoot it that he makes this grand, dramatic, romantic gesture and says, I always believed in you, which if you're a fan of the movie, you probably don't buy.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit because it wasn't the original intended ending.
Yeah.
Blaine is not the jilted character here. He's not the one that got hurt. He's not the one that, got screwed over. That was Andy. And so there's a level of unsatisfaction with why this is happening. But in order to make it feel a little bit better, they throw Christy Swanson of Buffy the Vampire Slayer fame in at the end, who is kind of looking at Ducky, thinking, he looks a lot better in all of his new clothes.
Yeah.
And they have a moment where Ducky has a girl now, Andy has the boy that she's supposed to be with, and everybody's good.
This movie it does reinforce the strong female character. She's moving forward. She knows what she wants.
And she knows what she wants through the entire movie. I mean, it's not, there are a few moments where she longs for that rich world. She sits in front of the house thinking, oh, this house is so beautiful, I wish I lived there. But for the most part, she knows where she's going. She wants to go to art school. She is the kind of like pull herself up by her bootstraps kind of gal who doesn't need a man to tell her what's what. And then in the last 3 minutes of the film, she does an about face, and all of a sudden, weak Blaine is gonna do it for her.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. And I just remember thinking, how cool is this character, this Molly Ringwald character? She makes her own clothes. These poor kids are still, they're still being who they are. There's the mutants, and they're doing artistic things, and they're just really cool characters. And I think it holds up because it's not dated. I mean, the music is dated and the clothes are dated, but the relationships aren't. Yeah. You're still gonna find relationships like that in high school, heck, even in adulthood.
Yeah.
And I think that's for a movie to really hit home with people, to really get people, it has to be about relationships, and it has to be about characters. And this movie has some of the best characters and some of the best relationships. And John Hughes knew kids. He knew teenagers. He knew what was gonna work in the 80s. And I mean, he's created something interesting because it still works today. 5 stars, would watch again.
All right. Well, this has been Kimberly Destry and Rob Walker doing a tag team review of Pretty in Pink for the John Hughes movie reviews. Check in next month for Weird Science. We're going to have a lot of fun with that one. Thanks a lot, sis.
Thank you.
See you guys later.